All right. Good morning, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving. Got the hoodie on this morning because it was a little cooler today, but it's Thanksgiving Day, and I've got Cameron with us this morning. We're gonna
Again?
talk a little bit about what we're thankful for, and maybe kiss the news a little bit. I'll throw
I don't
this one
see how
out
we
there.
can't.
I'll throw this one out there. It's I've still got to make up 8 hours of live. Got all my metrics in except for the last 8 hours of live. Wait. Let me double check that. Is it 8 hours? It's 7 hours. I need 7 hours.
Bro.
So there might be a little Diablo streaming over the next couple of days.
I was about to say, it might be time to buy a new video game and have an impromptu ask me anything. Like it's so
So good morning,
yeah.
brother. How you doing?
Good morning to you, brother. I'll tell you how I'm doing. I realize I have like the super most basic bitch camera setup, and I just haven't really worried about it because I haven't been able to come on. But like in my Amazon cart, like I have microphones saved so the alerts will go off when they go on sale and stuff like that. And I've looked at getting like an 80D that's busted but still functions. I was like, I bet that would actually just run it right through the PC so that I've got something way better than the tiny little Logitech here that's not. And because I'm a big geek and I couldn't help it, I'm not going to show you all of them. I found a collection of these at a yard sale, right? Brother, and I mean, and these are unopened and they're dated like 93 and 97 and stuff like that. They're not in the best shape. You can tell they've got a little wear and tear on them, but all things being equal, like, bro, that's unopened Star Trek merch there. So I say all that to say I have debated quite a bit in having, some kind of background that does something. I'm not seeing any comments roll in. Are we
You're not seeing the
is that
comments? I'm getting them
is,
over here.
is that a me thing?
There
That,
it may be. Here,
yeah,
I
because
can
I'm
do
not
there's a little something I can do for that.
because normally yesterday I could see them immediately, but I'm seeing nothing. So I don't know who's
Here, I'm gonna drop you a link over in the BFM thread, and you can pull up the pop-up chat there, and now you'll be able to see it.
okay. I
And yeah,
guess I
so
can.
good morning, people. There's a lot of people in this list I'm thankful for. First, right out the gate with first blood, Sergeant Major. That's Dad. Good morning, old man. Faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. And yeah, good morning, and we'll see you. I'll see you in a couple of hours. Couple hours. Actually, what time are you expecting, everybody, old man? I'm sure we'll be there at least 2 hours before the time. And Dad says, Ma, that's my mother. Ma has a Star Trek Barbie and Ken.
Oh, see, I'd be all about that. That would,
I
yeah,
bet you would.
I would be all about that. I don't care how gay that makes me sound. I would be
And you know what,
all
Cameron?
about that.
Since I know who I am, I think the Sergeant Major is saying this for your benefit because we miss you, brother.
Well,
I
I
also
miss
kind
you
of miss
guys.
that coffee cup. It was one of my favorites.
You can blame your wife. It's her idea. I swear to God, it was her idea. And look, if you've ever been over to Chris's house, we do what Chris says like 90% of the time, unless his wife tells you what to do. And then we do what she says 100% of the time. And she doesn't have to yell. She doesn't have to anything. She just says it. And you feel compelled to do it. And so when
Yeah,
she said I could have
and
this coffee cup, I knew it was okay.
and I'm just giving him a little bit of a hard time about that coffee cup. It's difficult to tell, but hold up your coffee cup, Cameron. These two cups are about the same size, And the thing that I like about that coffee cup is the same thing that I like about this one. And it's not just the size of the cup, the volume. It's actually the shape of it from the size of the circle on top.
Yeah.
It just hits right. But and Cameron talking about doing what the wife says. Many of you got to watch the deep dive the other night where Fee and I sat down and just talked about how we met and kind of our lives as a married couple going on. It'd be 18 years this December. 18 years in about a month, 23rd. And, so now my wife is this lovely, delightful, small woman. And that is very much how she appears to the outside world 9 times out of 10. And there's a bit of a mask there because it is also the case that she is a 20-year veteran, non-commissioned officer of the United States military and a very capable and accomplished clandestine operator that knows what it means to take a gaggle of shitheads and polish those turds into weapons. I mean, she spent the last 20 years taking the poor, neglected children of America's sons and daughters and crafting them into sailors and warfighters.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has that certain little something like, I don't need to yell at you. I don't need to yell.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, I think Lil Cam 51, which what a name.
We've been seeing that name pop up a lot. The first time I saw it, I thought that was you on Rumble.
No. Like you see me on Rumble, it's Cam, and I realize it is an obnoxious name, but whatever.
We know that now. We know that now because Jigglypuff points it out every single time.
Right. Okay. So, allow me to just say to everybody that's here, I see Megan, happy Thanksgiving to you. Patrick, happy Thanksgiving to you. Steve, happy Thanksgiving. And I see, and then of course I see your father. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And brother, I promise I'll come around more often. It just what's going on. Like you know all the things. Like it's kind of stepped out on faith and did like the whole small business owner thing. And I knew when I started I was going to have a year or two of really just being busier than a squirrel trying to shit a pineapple. And it's fine. It's all good. I drive the nicest truck I have ever owned, and I get to write the whole damn thing off on my taxes. It's phenomenal. So, however, I can say this. Thanksgiving with your family is pretty good. I don't know if anything will ever top the year. It turned out that there were national champions that just happened to be visiting next door to your parents. Like that was pretty good. But that's a thing. So I know in years past we have tended to avoid certain things on this particular stream. However,
yes, we try to do kind of an up morning for Turkey Day. I mean, it's a beautiful day. And forgive me for messing with my phone. My next door neighbor at the other end of 200 acres of cotton field next door just texted me happy Thanksgiving. So I was pulling up a copy of the link to right now to the live show we're doing currently, trying to snag an extra viewer this morning. So,
So does this stream count toward your time?
oh yeah,
Oh, okay. So it
oh yeah.
doesn't have to be exclusive, but it has to be live.
Correct. So the metrics are these. Every month now we have to do 30 hours of live streaming generally, 5 hours of Rumble exclusive streaming. We have to get at least 20 unique individuals to leave a to chat to actually join the live chat. Five paid ad reads and 200 hours of watch time across all those videos. And as of right now, we've done double all of that except for the ad reads, which I've done exactly 5. I probably need to get in the habit of doing more ad reads because they do pay a little bit. And hopefully doing the ad reads will convince Rumble that they need to boost us up and put us out there a little more to, hey, you get more people watching me. I get paid more for ad reads, and I do more ad reads, and you make more money to pay me more money with. I like that math, right? So we've met all the targets for this month, but we still need to get about let's see, we're 15 minutes in, so 6.5 hours.
Right.
And Sergeant Major says I'm supposed to be there by 1500 for Thanksgiving dinner. So we could just go ahead and do all 6.5 hours now. I brought my thermos.
Oh, see, I can't do that.
No, there's no way I'm sticking around for that long either. What I may do is when you and I are tired of talking this morning, I'll go see what I need to do in the kitchen to help out the wife and my horde of daughters. And then I might just pop on and play Diablo for an hour before we go eat.
Yeah. So I did this yesterday. I have entirely deboned my turkey. Yep. And stick with me. Took the bones and some vegetables, rubbed them down with oil, roasted them in the oven, put all that in the crock pot with some double concentrated tomato paste, so I can make a demi-glace from the turkey bones. And then I'm going to take my entirely deboned turkey. I'm going to inject it with jalapeno butter, and then I am going to smoke it. And then I am going to have boneless turkey that was cooked in jalapeno butter on the smoker, topped with turkey demi-glace for the gravy.
Wow. Oh, you're going to work tomorrow, aren't you?
Nope.
No?
No.
You gonna be around the house?
No, tomorrow I'm actually participating in the Black Friday stuff because I have 4 children and that many again, nieces and nephews, and those are just the ones related by blood. So I'm taking advantage of the Black Friday tomorrow to get a whole bunch of stuff at 50% off.
Yeah, I'm shamelessly doing all of my Black Friday Christmas shopping on Amazon.
I'm doing some of it on Amazon. I have some things saved in my cart for Amazon, that I knew were going to be on sale this week. So yeah, your dad's asking if the butter makes it harder to roll. I don't. No, at least no. It's one of the I have one of those injectors. I'm literally going to pump the butter directly into the stuff. And I thought about leaving it all one package and then getting
like a powered injector or a syringe.
It's a syringe. Good Lord, Chris. This is only like a 12-pound turkey here. Like, there's no, no. I thought about rolling the whole thing up and tying it off with butcher's twine and just using the skin as like a shell. Um, but I don't have that big of a grill. So instead, I quartered it. So I basically have two giant pieces of white meat, two giant pieces of dark meat, and that's it's going to be Bob's your uncle, and it's going to get some cherry wood smoke, and I think it's going to be tasty.
Yeah. Sounds delicious. Hey, real quick, Cameron. This is actually interesting. Lil Cam 51 says, "Yeah, I originally found the show on Twitch in 2022. Would flip back and forth from there and YT back then. I'm only 23, so very inconsistent before about really tuning into things, into streams. And Lil Cam, I'm glad I'm glad you're watching us. Glad you're watching us pretty consistently. We need that in our viewership. You being younger." Brother, tell people about the show. And if you send me a DM with an address or a PO box, if you're comfortable with that, brother, I'll send you a stack of these cards that say on the back of them they advertise the free 1 month giveaways that we do from time to time, and they have the QR code on there so people can go straight to the Rumble channel to get signed up and get in the membership and become a part of the project. Next year is, as soon as y'all put the turkey bird down, we're basically in midterm cycle. That the campaigning is going to start at the beginning. It's already starting. It's going to be in full swing by February. This year is an off year for elections, which means it's an off year for politics, which means slower traffic on the kind of content that we generally do. Next year we're going to be back in season again, and I'm going to be chasing this bird all around the state. It's going to be a party.
Yeah. So, Lil Cam, thanks for coming. 23 years old. I don't know you from Adam, as they say. So, just some things. At 23 years old,
Yeah.
I was awaiting the birth of my first child. Okay, so who will be 20 this April? Just anyhow, brother. Just things at 23 years old. If you could buy a house, definitely do that. Yeah, do that now. And I realize houses are ridiculously expensive right now.
Even if it's a shitty house.
Yeah, if you buy a shitty house and you take care of it, it will build equity. It is part of the path to on the wealth ladder. And my man, open a brokerage account. And if you even just put $25 a week in it, like nobody, I'm start building that wealth right now, my man. Okay, there are these things called dividends. They're not really free money, but damn, do they feel like free money? Well, let me tell you,
they're kind of like free money, but there ain't no such thing as free money. Right.
Right.
Stuff, baby. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. And little Cam, what Cameron's talking about right now, let me put a kind of a bow on that for you too. This is all shit that some old dude told me and told Cameron when we were 20, 22, 23, right? And
most of it I didn't listen to.
And in all fairness, at that age, like I was only making about when I was 23, I was an electrician. I was making, $60,000-$70,000 a year. And it always felt like there was just one more thing. There was always one more thing. Every time you pay the rent and the utilities and everything, and you feel like, okay, I'm caught up. I got some breather room. I got a paycheck in that I don't have to take the thing out of. Oh, I need new tires. Oh, I got to go do this. Oh, the water heater's broken. Oh, there was just always, it always felt like there was just something. So the thing that Cameron left out that I know he knows because we've talked about it is pay yourself first. Don't get a paycheck. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're flipping burgers or if you're an entrepreneur opening your little business. Pay yourself first, right? Don't treat your paycheck as you getting paid. No, treat the management of your life, quite separately from your business as a business of its own, right? Your household has an account, and you personally get paid by that entity, right? This is not a legal framework or a business framework. This is an intellectual framework, right? So pay yourself first. And when you pay yourself, treat yourself like somebody that you're responsible for taking care of. And part of that is setting up that future, right? So that paycheck, whether it's coming from a job or your own entrepreneurial activities, whatever, that comes into the household entity. Then you get paid, and then the household entity worries about the rent, the mortgage, right? The water bill, the electric bill, et cetera, et cetera. And then from what you pay yourself, you put your $25 a week into the brokerage account or what have you, right? And just, stick with it.
So
Patrick
Lil Cam
says,
appears
not
to
sure
have.
what you do for work, but learn a trade if you can. The trade route is a great route. And that could be electrical, plumbing, fucking spycraft.
Yeah, AI is never going to replace plumbers. It's just not. Somebody's going to have to crawl under your house and figure out where the clog is. Like that. That will be. Yeah, that will be a thing. And look, he says I took a Dave Ramsey class when he was 16. So basically, he has people in his life that love him.
Yeah.
I think we can make that assumption. He's already he's watching shows like ours, and somebody put him in a Dave Ramsey class when he was still a teenager. He has people in his life that love him.
In fact, if he took a Dave Ramsey class when he was 16, I would say there's a high degree of probability that he was introduced to that through his church.
Yeah, your dad says at one point a friend of ours was putting 26% of his pay into his account. I wish I could. Yeah. I can't put that much of a percentage in right now. But I would. Oh, yes, I would. Absolutely. Oh. So, man, it's kind of disappointing that Mario is not here.
We could call him.
Could call him what?
Nothing that's safe to say on this side of the paywall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we didn't plan that. That's what happens when you're friends with somebody for 30 years. You just you learn the rhythms.
Oh, these are the jokes, guys. These are the jokes.
Yeah, tip your waitress.
Try the veal. Yeah, there's no way this thermos makes it through to complete the streaming requirements.
I understand.
I do love this thermos, though.
So, as much as I don't want to be
bad for $12 at a gun show,
I would rock that thermos. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I feel like if we don't touch the super obvious thing, and I even dropped a thing from one of those Krasenstein, let's call them British cigarettes, in the chat. But a sad thing happened in Washington, D.C. yesterday.
You mean this thing?
Well, no, not the Well, Krasenstein might have happened in Washington, D.C., and that would be sad. But no, so.
Well, no, this is the thing you dropped in the thread.
Yes, that's the thing I dropped in the thread. But what happened in Washington, D.C. yesterday? Well, JD was going to say it. Apparently there was a shooting. Apparently. And 2 National Guard service members were wounded. And normally we stay away from heavier stuff. However, there are families now who probably love and adore these people in their life that were working during this time. And my father was a sheriff for DeKalb County, Georgia. So sometimes for holidays, he just wasn't there. Okay, so I emotionally speaking, I know what this is like, where everybody else gets to get together and they all get to eat turkey and drink wine or whatever. But your dad is at work, and hell, he might be working a double. You might not literally see him for a couple of days, right? And so you've got these families celebrating a thing, except there are a couple of them now that are terrified. And there's some conflicting information that came out. Because at first the governor said that it looked like these National Guard members were dead, and then the governor came out and said that he'd been giving conflicting information. Whatever. Somebody shot National Guard members the day before Thanksgiving. And as we said in our internal chat,
somebody is an Afghan national who was brought in by Biden under the programs to offer asylum, refugee status to the quote American allies who were displaced when Biden completely shit the bed on the Afghan withdrawal.
So the rabbit holes that I've gone down all seem to agree that he was an Afghan national, but there are some people that suggest he was actually brought in April of this year. I'm not saying I know for a fact that that's what happened. I'm just saying, as I follow the rabbit holes, they all agree on the Afghan national part. But there are some people that say he was brought in 2021, and then there are some people that say he was brought in April of this year. Just not try to quibble, just try to be as factual as possible. When these situations first develop, they're fluid, and it's easy to make mistakes.
Hey, brother, I need you to be a little cautious. Your audio is excellent, but every time you shake your head, it sounds like you're tapping your microphone.
Oh, that's because I know what causes that. Okay, I'll try and be careful.
I know it's difficult because you're going to have to police physical activity, but yeah, every time you do this, it sounds like you're.
Yeah, I know what it is. It's this old microphone.
Indeed.
Anyhow, but I'm just gonna, and I know we're not supposed to speculate in this way, but I mean, see, I just did it again. Damn it.
That wasn't too bad. Don't worry about it too much. It's when you go.
Right.
Yeah, it's when you go full Beethoven.
But I mean, somebody attacks National Guards. We hear your marbles rattling.
But yeah,
what makes you think I have more than one?
Well, and so yesterday we talked about the Seditious Six, right? And I said, this is the thing that they want. They want attacks to happen on U.S. soldiers. Now, this isn't quite what I described as their total objective yesterday with, some trans private going in and firebombing the day room to kill a team doing team shit on their downtime. But actual acts of violence, murderous assaults on our armed service members, that is what the Democrat wants right now. They're thirsty for it.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make the guess. Gee, Afghan national shoots people in D.C.? I wonder if they pray 5 times a day.
Well, they did shout Allahu Akbar before he opened fire.
No, man. No, that couldn't possibly be. Was it really? No, in our internal group chat, it was, I said, and there were some flavors of agreement with this. Like, it wasn't a troon because they didn't shoot up a school. So,
yes,
it had to be a Muslim. Sorry, guys. However, can you pull the Krasenstein thing back up? Because there's actually something that I wanted to touch. Because these guys. If they weren't on duty there raking leaves and standing in front of a federal building for no good reason, this wouldn't have happened. It was Trump's stupid political stunt teamed with another lunatic killer that led to this. Enough is enough. R.I.P. Oh my God. Like, this has such you shouldn't have worn such a short skirt vibes to it. Like, Jesus. No, this happened because of a lunatic killer.
Yeah,
All that other stuff.
every time you say, listen, sweetheart, don't wear the short skirt, get shit faced in the club, and then walk down the dark alley, right? You'll hear these sociopaths screaming, you're victim blaming, she did nothing wrong. She did do something wrong. She made a mistake, she made poor choices, and those poor choices have consequences. And the point is not to make her feel bad or to hate her for having gotten hurt because of her poor choices. The point is to point at the poor choices and say, we're going to learn from this in the same way that we don't put our hand on the hot fucking stove. So this, if they weren't on duty there, raking leaves and standing in front of federal buildings for no good reason, okay, for starters, they're raking leaves and standing in front of a federal building is a good reason for them to be there.
Yes, exactly.
Right? This wouldn't have happened. Okay, you know what? You may be right. If they weren't raking leaves, if they weren't there pulling security in our nation's capital under color of law and in our uniforms, you're right. This would not have happened. They would not have been shot and put in critical condition and in fear for their lives. No, that would not have happened. Instead, a terrorist intent on doing harm could very well have gotten an actual shot off at the White House and killed any number of important people. Right?
Important people,
yeah.
But yes.
Oh, HIVs.
Okay.
High individual value.
I got it. I got the pun.
But yeah, could have killed any number of high value targets if there weren't security on the ground to deal with that. Right? We could shoulda, coulda, woulda all day. But the fact is, this claim here, it was Trump's stupid political stunt teamed with another lunatic killer. No, it was a lunatic killer teamed with the President of the United States in his capacity as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Services, correctly assigning security details to protect vulnerable targets, which have been a constant attack vector for our foreign and domestic enemies since his original election in 2016. The Democrats and their ilk and their supporters and their funders and their nose ring wearing spiteful mutant sociopath voters have been attacking government buildings consistently for 10 years.
Yeah, and really, even outside of the paradigm you're describing, Washington, D.C. is a target-rich environment. It just is. I'm not talking about how much you do or do not like the politics or the politicians. I'm just saying, if you're playing a game of Risk, a lot of the guys in Washington, D.C. have got better numbers on their game pieces. It is what it is. So to say, oh my God, why would you assign National Guard to guard the nation's capital? Because, guys, really? We're going to play this game? There's a meme that gets passed around, and I'm if I'd have known we were going to swerve into this, I'd have given it to you. But it's somebody they took a block of text from X where it says, it's amazing how much of leftist discourse is them pretending to not understand the point you're actually making,
Correct.
Thus making discourse impossible. Like, guys, come on. Can we stop pretending like you don't understand exactly why we would assign troops to the nation's capital, especially around a holiday? Like, just I'm not going to go on a rant and drop a bunch of cuss words because this is not that show.
What you're describing is a very effective social engineering tactic, a very effective sophist debate tactic to pretend like you don't understand something, and then you can continue to pretend like you don't understand, apply something that sounds like the Socratic method of asking questions, and instead what you're doing is you're attempting to confuse your interlocutor so that they suddenly don't think they understood what they said to begin with, which was not the case. And it gives us two possible vectors of potentiality for these individuals. People who use this tactic either are, in fact, as stupid as they appear to be, or they are so maliciously dishonest, right? So either they're so dishonest that it's not safe to be associated with them. A person that is that dishonest is an active existential threat to everybody they come in contact with. Or they're so stupid that they're an active existential threat to everybody they come in contact with.
You don't think there's a third option? So successfully brainwashed?
No, it's
smart
the same
people
thing.
can be brainwashed.
No, the brainwashed category. They in both of those cases, they have been brainwashed. They have been propagandized. They have been neurolinguistically programmed into the behavior patterns that they're exhibiting. But then they fall into one of the two categories, either dishonest or unintelligent.
Okay. I'm going to process that. I don't know that I'm going to agree or disagree, but I'm just going to process what you said for a moment. Anyhow, prayers for the.
That they keep telling us that DC has seen sustained year-over-year decreases in crime. Apparently, the National Guard makes better cops than the actual cops. Yes, they have started seeing. They have seen substantial decreases in crime since the National Guard have showed up. And for the last about 4 years, DC has been telling us that crime has been going. Basically, Biden took office and they started telling us that crime is going down everywhere. And then, of course, early last year, early 2024, we got the report out of the FBI that, oh, no, it turns out what's actually happening is all over the country, individual police precincts are just refusing to report numbers on crimes generally. And so we had this rash of the FBI taking all the crime data from as much of the country as possible for a period of like 10 years, and then taking all of the crime data that was reported, which turned out to be about 50% of the crime data, and putting those two numbers against each other and saying, well, if we just don't, essentially what they said was, if we just don't look at the 10 largest cities in the United States, then the country has become much safer over the last period since those 10 cities stopped reporting. They're like, well, yeah, obviously. If you delete DC, LA, San Francisco, Chicago,
it's always big blue cities.
If you delete all the big blue cities, America is the safest country in the world. And it's not even close.
Yes. So, and since it's Thanksgiving, I'm going to say that's a thing that I'm thankful for. Like my exposure to violence over the course of my life has been extremely low, especially when you compare it to historical context. Like it was normal for Genghis Khan to come rolling over the hills and just conquer your village.
Yeah.
Like that was just how humans operated for a long time. And so the fact that for 2.5 centuries we've had such an absolute abundance, like what we have here is the exception, not the rule, at least not in the historical context. So that's a thing to be thankful for. But do you have anything else you want to add to it? It was there, it was topical, and seeing the thing from the Krasensteins really pissed me off. Like it's Trump's fault. Everything is Trump's fault. Everything. Like even Trump being the commander in chief and giving the military orders that actually kind of makes sense. Yeah, it's Trump's fault those guys got shot. Like,
Yeah, like I pointed out yesterday, the seditious six, Mark Kelly and Lisa Slotkin and all those traitors. Slotkin did that interview where she was, and this is after they put out the video. You need to disobey illegal orders. She was questioned on it specifically, and she said, no, we can't point to any, we can't point to anywhere. There's no evidence that Trump has given illegal orders. And it's okay. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. Right. You make the claim he's a Nazi, and then you tell people it's okay to punch Nazis, and you just sit back and you hope that Lois Lerner says, Barry would sure be happy if I was to shuffle these 501c3s down to the bottom of the stack. Nobody told her to do it. That's that amorphous warfare. That's sixth generational combat.
so your dad says don't let the bastards get in your head. I think there is a difference between letting someone get in my head. But I do believe yes. I do believe if somebody is going to tell me who they are and tell me what they think about me, I should listen. I feel like Sun Tzu would say, if your opponent is going to tell you exactly how they intend to attack you, well, pay attention. So, but your advice is understood, and I do think there is some value in infuriating things being infuriating. Um, let's not pretend like we don't see the things we see and feel the things we feel. And I realize that's not what you're suggesting. I'm just saying there's some gray area here in between the two extremes. So it's been while you're typing, it's been a hell of a year, man. Like I realize I haven't been on the show a whole lot since it happened, but I am one of the people where something snapped inside me in September when Charlie Kirk was shot. Like oh boy, so many rabbit holes. I am not trying to go down here, okay? But I am. I for one am not somebody who is interested in the narrative of the noticing. Just as an example. However, I understand why it exists now, and I understand. I feel as though I really understand why people are noticing because, and this is really important. Charlie Kirk was the guy who would try and talk it out, and it got him killed. He was polite, he was respectful, and he did talk it out. It got him shot on a college campus in front of all those students, and then the video of his death was passed around social media and has since, by the left, been memed. And they even laugh at what happened to it. And there are all sorts of terrible rumors that have gotten started. Like, there's a rumor that says Erica Kirk is pregnant, and just all of these just awful things. Oh boy. Okay. All right. I got it. Not trying to be emotional, but it really did bother me that bad. So the fact that there are still corners where, you and I can talk, that's great. But I am one of those people who hit a real fuck it point with that. Like, Nick Fuentes would not have been my first choice, but if you keep forcing me in that direction, if you're willing to kill me for being polite, well, we could just stop being polite. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I am thankful that we live in a society that for so long could, at least theoretically, revolve around being able to debate things. But that there is a sense of justice, there is a sense of morality where so many people could watch that happen and go, "Oh, okay, I get it. You think I'm a Nazi? I'm not in any way a Nazi, but you think I'm a Nazi. Therefore, it's okay to punch me." All right, noted, noted. Like, never forget, Charlie Kirk was the moderate, guys. Don't kid yourselves. So So there's that. And then, man, the other one I really was sad that I missed, like, golly, Ozzy Osbourne, man. Like, that was I don't know how many Ozfests I have been to. I have been to a few, and they were always a blast. And and yeah, so appreciate your loved ones. You know, we all say, "Oh, tomorrow is not promised," and it's not. But because we're human beings, we tend to put that thought out of our minds because if we just walk around going, "No, I'm going to die and everybody I know is going to die and eventually there's going to be the heat death of the universe." Now that'd be a pretty depressing place to live. Still though, part of what makes days like today special is that there are people that we can share them with, and this could be the last one. If this was the last Thanksgiving you had with your mother and you knew it, what would you say to her? How would you treat her? So, all right then. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope I kind of wove all that together. Chris and I discussed it beforehand, and and so there you go.
All right. So I think we're closing in on about ready to wrap up and start. Gonna go see what I can do in the kitchen. I still need to take my walk. I think I'll go back live after we're done here and see how I'll throw it on my phone and walk my little trail back to the Lowry Private Park. Show y'all guys. See, it'll be little streaming time. I'll do that on Rumble only, so we don't overstress the stream or the algorithm on YouTube. Couple things I want to do, kind of not exactly housekeeping, but kind of before we wrap it up. This thumbnail this morning was just kind of a quick and dirty. I grabbed an image and threw the BFM logo over it, and I did that not because I was too lazy or too late or too slow to make a thumbnail, but because I tried to make a thumbnail using ChatGPT, and I fed it some information, and I told it what I wanted it to make, and in a very technical sense, it did okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Cameron looks really old and Mario looks fat.
And you look fucking Polynesian? Like, what is going on?
That's not entirely unfair. I do get the chinky eyes when I smile. It is what it is. I don't get the chinky eyes quite to that degree when I smile. So back in Hawaii, I had this private that worked for me for a while. He was a Chinese linguist, native born Chinese, grew up in China until he was like. Anyway, he went from China to France to the U.S. His first language was Chinese. His second language was French. I think his third language was Russian. His fourth language was English before he became an American citizen, and then went to DLI for Mandarin. Right? Anyway, his name was Cha-Ching Z. His first name was Cha-Ching. I shit you not. Right? Z Cha-Ching. And he had the narrowest slit Chinese, like the most stereotype, you could blindfold him with dental floss eyes I've ever seen in anyone. And one day We're with the unit. We're on the beach. We're drinking beers. We're having a good time. It's about sunset. And we're all standing there on the beach at sunset, just marveling in the holy shit, the government pays us to live here and hang out on the beach in Hawaii and watch the sunset. And Z walks up and with a beer in his hand, and he says, you know, guys, I never got what white people were on about with the fucking sunset thing. I don't get it. And we all just kind of looked at him like, what are you talking about? And as soon as everybody looked at him, he reached up with one hand and he went, oh! I died right there. So, yeah, that was Z. If you happen to come across this, you were in fact one of my favorite soldiers. And let me tell you, soldiers aren't quite like kids in that way. You're not allowed to have a favorite kid, right? I have a favorite firstborn. I have a favorite thirdborn, right? But you don't get a favorite kid. And we tell our kids, you are my favorite firstborn, right? And we play with that. But I did have soldiers that were not my favorites. Z, you were one of my favorites. You were one of the great ones.
So you were one of the good ones?
Like in past tense. I mean, it doesn't work for me anymore because I'm out. Z is very much alive and thriving as far as I know. Here's the other one. So Cameron, you know, I've got this gig that I've been doing while real estate marketing is a little, real estate media marketing is a little on the slow side. It's their slow season right now. So to fill in the gap, I've been taking my drone out and doing roof surveys for solar panel company, right? And that's only tangentially part of the story in that yesterday morning, I did a survey for a man named Guillermo Ramon. And normally I wouldn't talk about a customer or client and their name, but Guillermo and I had a great conversation because of our not dissimilar background. Well, we have a little bit of overlap in our backgrounds. So Guillermo is a psychiatrist or psychologist. I never understand the difference. And anyway, he was a shrink. He was an academician in that field. His first language was Catalan. His second language was Spanish, right? He speaks a few. So we're both linguists. Now he's learned languages where I've studied linguistics, but I've studied linguistics where he's studied psychology. When I was at DLI, I read a fantastic paper entitled The Neurophysiology of Second and Third Language Acquisition, which was about literally the brain chemical difference between how your brain learns languages. And there's actually a physical difference in your brain between the way it learns your first language, your second language, and your third language. Now, those doctors determined that once you learn language number 3, every other language you learn after number 3, you learn the same way as number 3, but number 2 is weird and it's hard to get through it. And it was very complex, very, very interesting, brilliant piece of work. So I've read that. I'm about to read, this book is on its way, not that book. This book is on its way. This is the book that Guillermo Ramon just wrote, Artificial Intelligence and Human Thinking. And so what this is, and I dropped the link in the pinned comment below. So what this book is a shrink sitting down and asking ChatGPT questions as if it has the capacity to think like a human. And again, I'm trying to synopsize this based off how he explained it to me. I haven't read it yet. It's on its way. But basically, it's kind of his thoughts on the way that human thinking works, the way that artificial intelligence thinking works, and where they're similar and where they're different. So here's the deal that I made with him. And he also has a podcast, which I haven't gotten a chance to look at yet. I'll pull it up and maybe show you guys a link to that, maybe help him out a little bit too in the future. I'm not going to try to do that right now, but I've got a copy of this book on the way. I'm going to read this and it'll probably be early January. We'll see. I'll get to it as soon as I can. It's the holidays. It's busy. But I'm going to read this book. If you guys want to be prepared, you can go ahead and pick up a copy of it as well. Link in the pen comment. So there's a reading assignment, and in a couple or 3 weeks, or maybe right after the first of the year, sometime 3 to 6 weeks, we'll call it. Guillermo and I are going to do one of the Brushfire Mind type deep dives on this book and this topic. Right. So look forward to that. I think that one's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be fast because the guy was very interesting. He's had an interesting life and has written what I hope is going to turn out to be an interesting book. And full disclosure, I haven't read it yet. It's one that I want to read and I will be reading soon. But yeah, check that out.
Wait, so does he believe artificial intelligence is actually intelligent, or?
I don't know yet.
Because you know how I feel about this. It's a toaster, or more accurately, a laptop. But it's we call it artificial intelligence. It's a whole lot of artificial. It's not a lot of intelligent. So, it's.
Yeah, I disagree with you on that, and I know you know that. But I don't want to get too spun off on that rabbit hole right now. That is a show that you and I need to do. But that needs to be its own show.
Yes, I understand, because that'll be deep and nerdy. So, Cameron versus Chris over the nature of AI. Round 1, fight.
Yeah, you and I probably need to discuss how we're going to format that show, because the question.
Yeah, we should probably discuss that off air.
The argument, as I understand it right now, is nebulous. We need to discuss which actual argument we're going to be having.
Oh well, hello, Emerson.
Hey, Emerson,
just responded to someone in the chat. Anyhow, we're coming up on an hour, buddy.
We are, and I think that's a good spot to put a pin in it. I'm going to go find out what I need to get done and how soon my wife thinks I should be ready to leave the house, and hopefully I can sneak a walk and talk video in between now and then. And yeah, thanks for watching this morning, guys. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow. Witness.
All right, man. I'm gotta go check my bones, which have been simmering for a solid 14 hours now, something like that.
Roger that. All right, brother. Take care.